Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties. I left off. I left off on the hive mind. That's what I was talking about before I was kicked off. So, I was logged out. Um, Maybe I said something that the cloud didn't like. I don't know. So, anyway, I was talking about the hive mind. The hive mind is the consumption of information and interpreting and emulating that information, whether you realize you're emulating it or not. So, the stuff that you see on television, the stuff that you see in general, whether you know it or not, you emulate that. So, that is essentially what the hive mind is. So, that's where I left off. I was kicked off for some reason. And so I was talking about Anthony Bourdain, his death, likely reasons why he did it. I was talking about Bhutan, the two cultures, Western investors versus the small community and the public officials who are shaking hands with foreign investors for personal gain in the battle, the spiritual battle that's happening in Bhutan, in which more and more young people there in Bhutan are being seen with iPhones, are being seen with Android devices, whereas before you would see them fishing in a river, you would see them hunting, shooting a bow and arrow. So the culture is changing. Not to mention Bhutan, to the north is communist China. So if you would go onto Google Earth or the maps and you looked at communist China, China is huge compared to little Bhutan, which is right below communist China. And so the Bhutan is like a front line in the fight of spiritualism versus materialism. The two oppose each other. That is the fight now in culture. That is the true fight in society. The two oppose each other because materialism says that, hey, spiritualism has no value. There is no value in that. There is no value in thought. There is no value in understanding. There's only value in assimilation. There's only value in material things. So the two ideas oppose each other, but they are needed. Both are needed to have a successful life, to be happy. Materialism also brings with it structure. And structure on one end is good, but on the other end is chaos. You need a balance between the two. And so materialism has brought with it a very structured society. So if you go to work every day and you work 9 to 5, which is getting harder and harder to find, it's usually 9 to 9 now. If you work that and you have a structured life, you will eventually be unhappy because your life is too structured. You can predict what you're going to do the next day. Human beings need a sense of chaos every now and then. You need unpredictability every now and then to be happy. So you may go on a cruise, you may go play some golf, you may go out and just live in the present on the weekends and then go to work Monday through Friday. That's a decent balance. and you may be happy. Too much structure, too much of one thing is bad, so too much chaos is bad. So that's where I left off. You know, society is very structured now, and every great nation has to have stability, has to have structure. So it is needed to have a successful culture. But at what price? I mean, God, turn on CNN and just listen to the crap that they're spewing. And then I talk to young people, usually on the internet, and they're just now whether they realize it or not, they are just so entrenched in this idea that they're emulating, whether they know it or not. And so women are put into this category, and if you're a woman, you're supposed to believe in women's rights, in, I don't know, feminism, right? It's a very broad brush, and they're destroying society by grouping people into these groups, destroying society, destroying family. I mean, because if the women hate the men and the women go to the government can then take over and say, okay, right, the men, they are your enemy. The man is destroying you, so you need to go to the government. But if you try to lift yourself up out of poverty, if you try to bring in a man, we're going to punish you. We're going to take away your food. We're going to take away your housing. We're going to take away the gift that we have given to you, which was stolen, by the way. We're going to take that away if you try to better yourself and lift yourself up out of poverty by seeking somebody, by seeking a partner. We're going to punish you, because if you do that, that will bring your income above a certain line. And so then we will no longer reward you. And you will be left to starve, right? I want to talk about something too. I wasn't going to talk about this. I was going to save this for a different episode, but Jesus in the desert, right? So in the New Testament, Jesus went into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. And he ran into Satan. And the first question Satan asked Jesus, do you guys know what that is? Do you guys know what Satan told Jesus? Do you know what he asked Jesus? The first question? He said, "Hey, Jesus, are you hungry? Do you want some food?" That's the first thing Satan asked Jesus when he was in the desert, 40 days and 40 nights. The first thing Satan asked Jesus, "Hey, Jesus, you want some food? Are you hungry?" Jesus said, "No, and don't ask me again." Jesus knew who he was. And so Not only did he say no, but Jesus said, "Don't ask me again." He warned Satan. He said, "Don't ask me again." Meanwhile, Jesus was starving. Jesus said, "Don't ask me again." That's the same as governments. What's the first question? What's the first thing a government asks somebody? Hey, man, want some food? Are you hungry? And not to mention, the government's food, that money, is not real money. It's stolen money. It's money that hasn't been made yet through debt. So that money is guaranteed, but it's not real money yet. The debt from future generations will pay that off. So that's what I equate it to. The first question Satan asked Jesus when he was in the desert. Hey, are you hungry? You want some food? But he invoked Jesus with free stuff. Free stuff. Hey, man, you want this? That's what governments do. They invoke you through free stuff. Only to come to find it's not so free. That's what's happening now. That's where the fight is now. It's the only thing governments can offer you. And if you try to lift yourself up out of this, if you try to better yourself with your own advancement, you get punished. The government punishes you. Okay, well, you want to marry this man? You have 2 kids. You have your housing paid for. You have your medical paid for. You have your food paid for. You want to go marry that man? We're going to take that away from you. We're going to take that away. You're trying to lift yourself out of your own poverty. We're going to take it from you. We're going to take your benefits. We're going to take your medical. We're going to take your food stamps. We're going to take all the shiny gifts that we offer you, and we're going to give them to somebody else. So that is what is currently happening in society. You know, I feel almost scared talking about this on Facebook. I really do, man. Like, I've done so much research on this. You know, write about it often, talk about the future, talk about the present. I almost feel scared talking about this because this could evoke the powers that be. And I don't know. So that's what Satan tempted Jesus with. First thing he asked, "Hey Jesus, when he was in the desert, when he was starving for 40 days and 40 nights, and he was by himself, Jesus was suffering in the desert. It says in the Bible, Jesus went to a faraway land, right? Now, in Israel, there is no mountain. It says in the Bible that Jesus went to a mountaintop. Well, we're not sure if Jesus was in Israel, because in Israel there is no mountaintop. Israel's pretty flat. So maybe he went to, I don't know, Jordan, somewhere. It said Jesus went to a faraway land to a mountaintop for 40 days and 40 nights. And he talked to his father. He talked to God. But he also ran into Satan. Satan was there. First thing Satan asked, Jesus, are you hungry? You want some food? It's free. So that's just, to put it into context of what happened. Jesus said, no, I don't want your free stuff. Jesus not only said no, he said, no, I don't want your free stuff. So, let's see. And that's the same thing with government offerings. Government offerings are very similar to this. The government can offer you this. Here's some food stamps. Map out your failures. Map out your shortcomings. Become a victim. We will give you free stuff. But if you decide to better yourself, if you decide to lift yourself up out of poverty, then you will not be rewarded. We will punish you. Stay oppressed. Stay a victim. Don't map out your failures. Map out your failures. Map out your shortcomings. Become a victim, and we will give you free stuff. But if you try to lift yourself up out of poverty, if you try to better yourself, we are going to punish you. So, all right, guys, I'm going to head out of here. Leave some comments below. If you want to support the show, if you want to come on the show, I might have some kind of live Skype. So if any of you guys want to come on the show, and we will talk about different subjects, different things, and give me a topic. Give me a topic that we can talk about, and I'll be happy to discuss it. Maybe I'll have some people on somehow. We'll think of something. So, yeah, I'm going to head out. I'll talk to you guys later.